How are you, friends? My name is Kenneth Kaseke. I've come again with some series, and this time around, we are going to take time to go through the book that I wrote almost 2 years ago, and it was on a very crucial topic, a topic that most of the people don't want even to talk about, and that is this book. If you can see it, it's entitled "It's Not Death to Die." So this is the book that we'll be going through and discussing. I want us to spend more time talking about this book. So today I would want us to begin looking at part one. Just let me go through some of the content of this book. So this book talks about, it takes time to describe or define what death is. And then it talks about the origin of sin and death. Then it talks about the immediate result of the fall of man. Then it also talks about the future end game of the fall of man, and then it talks about some of our African cultural beliefs on death and the afterlife. There are a lot of myths about what happens when a person dies. Where do they go? So this book talks about all those things. Then it also gives us some guidelines on how Christians could be conducting funerals. There are again a lot of myth about how we should conduct funerals as Christians. Then in part 5, it talks about biblical factualities of sin, death, and the afterlife. So now in part 5, we begin to look at what does the Bible really say about these issues of death. Then we talk about the overbearing questions people ask about death and the afterlife. Even Christians, most of us, we are not where we are supposed to be when it comes to the issue of death. We have a lot of questions and we do not know the answers from the Bible. So it tackles those things. Part 6 talks about the biblical solution to the problem of sin and death. Then the biblical implications of sin and death on believers. What happens to believers when they die? Then also the biblical implications of sin and death on unbelievers. What happens if you are not a Christian, you have not received Jesus as your Lord and Savior, then you die. What next? Is it the end of life? We know that people die, things die, and most of the people think that's the end of it. But I want to tell you that that's not the end, because there is one who killed death, and that is Jesus Christ. Then part 7 talks about last words of encouragement that were spoken by Christian saints before they died. So there is a list of church fathers, of famous Christians who lived and faced death. They have gone as it were before and after us. And before they died, some of them, it's like they saw it coming and they spoke words of encouragement to us who have remained before we meet or face our death. So it's going to be an interesting series that we are going to be having going through this book. A lot of copies were sold when I published this book, and I only have 2 copies remaining. I'm thinking of printing more, God willing, by June, July. I'll have more copies. Probably they will come out with another book that I'm working on, and you'll do well to pre-order or buy the 2 that has remained. Due to lack of time, today we end here, but I'll be coming time and again to talk about these issues of death. It's not death to die. Thank you, and looking forward to seeing you on this platform as we talk about this book. It's not death to die. Thank you.